In this video, we will be looking at 3D models in PowerPoint. To get access to 3D models, go to Insert, locate 3D models, which is next to icons. If we click on it, we have two options. If you have your own models on your computer, you can select them by clicking this option. If you have Office 365 subscription, PowerPoint gives us a lot of stock 3D models to use. Let's click on it. You can see that we have a bunch of categories. I think there are about 59 categories to choose from, and each category has a lot of 3D models inside of it. So the first one is actually a 3D model that's also animated. You'll notice this human running, that indicates this is an animated model. If we look at the fourth one, we don't have this icon here. So it's a static 3D model, and you can see we have quite a few options just for emojis. So let's scroll down and pick some model to look at. How about we pick traveler? Under traveler, we have so many options. I'm going to pick a plane. Let's click insert. 3D objects are usually bigger in size, so PowerPoint needs time to download them from servers. By default, it's shown in this position. If I click on this object, we get this circle at the center. Now this is the handle you can use to rotate this object in any direction. So bring your mouse cursor on it, then hold down your left mouse button and then drag this image, and you can rotate it freely in any direction. Once you're happy with the position, release your mouse button and it will stay at that position. Once you click on this object, we have this new menu option that's enabled at the top. So let's click on that. Let's look at different options we get here. So the first one is the same option that we initially saw under insert menu. The second option is if you have moved your model and you want to reset it to the original position, you can just select reset 3D model and it will go back to the starting position. If you have resized your object and you would like to go back to the original size, you can select the second option. It's gone back to the smaller size that we started with. So I actually want it bigger, so I'm just going to undo it. Let's go back to 3D model menu. Here we have a bunch of presets, positions for our 3D object. So if you don't want to move this object freely, you want a specific position, you can pick from any of these views. So let's say this side view, it looks pretty. There are so many preset options available here. It's kind of addictive to work with 3D models, to be honest. These few options are standard for any object and not necessarily for a 3D model, so we can ignore these for now. Let's look at pan and zoom. If I click on this, you can see that we have this lens option that's enabled here. So if I bring my cursor here, it turns into this double-headed arrow. If you hold down your left mouse button and drag up, it zooms in to our image, and if you drag your mouse button down, it zooms out. So you can zoom pretty far in. Looks like there is no one inside the plane. Let's go back to 3D model menu and reset our 3D model view. Next, let's right click on this object and click on Format 3D Model option. So at the top, we have model rotation options. So we saw the presets here above. But let's say if you didn't want to freely move your object, you didn't also want these presets, you wanted somewhere in between, but you wanted precise controls. So you can use these controls to set your numbers precisely. So we can actually dial in very specific values in here. Same with Z values. So now it looks like our plane is taking off. So that's model rotation. Next, let's look at camera controls. In case of model rotation, the center of our axis is inside the plane. So anytime you rotate the plane, it rotates around that axis, which is inside the plane. But in case of a camera, the point of rotation will be outside of the plane. So how does the plane rotate with respect to a point outside of the plane? So these controls will allow us to do that. So let's see what happens if we change X position. How about Y? Let's change Z as well. Negative values bring the plane closer to us, and positive values of Z take the plane away from us. Let's look at these settings for look at point. So if I click on X position, then plane moves laterally on the x-axis. I believe this will move the plane along the y position, and z position goes this way. Change field of view and see what happens. Okay, So it's basically zoom settings, but with extreme increments and decrements. So it takes a while to get the hang of this because it's not every day that we work with 3D objects. Play around with these controls and see what works for you. If this is too confusing, you can always select one of the presets. So it's good to know that we have these many controls. However, for the purpose of our presentation, I doubt we will need to know all of these. So those are all the basic settings we have for 3D models. Next, let's look at the applications of 3D models. So here is the data for number of NBA championships won by different teams in the history of NBA. Now this chart itself is fine. We could also include an icon to spruce it up. However, we can do better by including a 3D model. So if I go to insert, click on 3D model, click on stock 3D models, go to sports section, locate a basketball, it's right here, click insert. Okay, let me reduce the size and keep it here, maybe shrink this slightly. Let's go one step further, click on animations. Under animations, we have a few new animations for 3D models alone. So we have this new section called 3D and we have 5 animations under it. I'm going to select turntable and then let's look at this slide in full screen. You can see that this ball is rotating now. It adds so much interest to this otherwise dull slide with just a bar chart. Let me reduce the size even more and bring this slightly down. Let's look at the other animations. So how about jump and turn? Let's look at it in full screen. That's nice. How about swing? Let's look at arrive. Okay, that's simple. And leave must be opposite of that. So that's one example. Let's look at this example. So we have key research objectives. So we have 3 questions here that we are trying to answer. Let's pick a good model that can go with this. So go to stock 3D models. We have this office supplies section. This is the most useful section for corporate business presentations. Let's scroll down and see what can work for us. How about this one? Let's click insert. Okay, a page with charts on it. Let's move this to the side. Now, because it's a 3D model, we can actually rotate this like this. How about we add a shadow underneath to add more interest? Let's look at next example for executive summary. Let's pick a new model. So go back to office supplies and pick maybe an executive's diary. This time, instead of rotating like this, how about we rotate it like this, shrink this a bit, maybe see if there is a better option amongst the presets. I actually like this, so I'm gonna keep this one. Let's look at one more example. So here is a slide about storytelling. So we are saying that there are 6 types of stories as identified by researchers analyzing English novels. So because this is based on novels, I think a book icon or a book 3D model would be more suitable. So let's move this text to the right. Let's locate a book model. So here I'm just going to type in book. How about books? All right, so we have 2 options. Let me select both and see which works better. Okay, let's see if we can make this work. Okay, I think we can get rid of the second one and make this one fit. So you can pose your 3D models in any way you want. Every frame is essentially an icon. So far, we have looked at the default 3D models that come with PowerPoint. What if we wanted to include an external 3D model? I've looked online and one of the best websites out there is Sketchfab. On this, you can find literally hundreds and thousands of 3D models to either download for free or buy them. So our slide is about tablet landscape. So I'm looking for a tablet image. Now I have pre-searched for a tablet that could work for us. So I'm just going to copy this URL, paste it here. Once you found the model that you like, you can scroll down here. Here you will notice the option to download the 3D model. Click on it, and before you are able to download, you will be asked to sign in. So make sure that you either create a login or use one of the existing Gmail logins to sign into this website. And once you sign in, you will be able to get these download options. So for PowerPoint, select the GLB format. There are other formats that work with PowerPoint as well, but the GLB one is the most preferred format. So click on this download option. So I have already downloaded this file here. So your file should be named something like this. Then go back to PowerPoint, go to Insert, click on 3D models, then click on this device option and select that file, and then click Insert. Okay, it has added this image. It's too thin for us right now, so I'm just going to drag this like so and reduce its size. I'm going to pose this. How about this one? Let's stick with this. So this is how you can add external 3D models in PowerPoint. Here is another example with a globe, how you can incorporate globes to show location data. This globe is completely editable, so I can move this around and focus in on a specific country if I want. So Australia if I wanted. So globes are also super useful. I have found these few options that could actually work for us in business PowerPoint presentations. So these are all part of PowerPoint stock 3D models. There could be more, but I think these could actually work. For non-business presentations, possibilities are endless, especially if you are a student or you are part of the education sector. There are so many good visualizations to choose from, especially for science. Finally, let's look at the animated model. So I'm just going to open a new slide, then go to Insert, click on Stock 3D Models again. How about we pick this globe that shows ocean currents? Now you'll notice that the animation starts right away as soon as the object is loaded. To stop the animation, you can click on this pause button. To restart it, click on this play button. If you want to disable the animation controls, go to this top left corner, click on Scenes and click on None. Now the buttons will go away and this will just turn into a regular 3D model. To enable that again, click on Scene 1. Other than the scene control and the play and pause button, all other controls remain the same. We can also apply animations on top of the animation. However, when I tried to do that a couple of times, my computer crashed. So a word of caution is, if you are trying to do too much with these 3D objects, your computer might hang and you might have to restart your computer. So make sure you save everything before you are experimenting with any of these 3D objects. Another caveat with 3D models is they are large in size. So your file sizes will become really heavy. If file size is a problem for you, what you can do is you can fix your object at a desired position. Let's say if you're happy with this position here, you no longer need this object to be a 3D object, right? So you can just select it, then paste it again as an SVG or any of these image files like JPG. Click OK, paste it here, and then remove the 3D object. And this should bring down your size significantly. Of course, you would lose the ability to re-edit this again, but if you needed to do that, you can always go back to Insert menu and insert this object again and readjust it. So there are trade-offs, but at least this will help you with your file sizes. So in summary, 3D objects can be useful if used correctly. I like working with 3D objects. They are fun to work with and they add a unique touch to your slides. I would highly recommend you explore this option, experiment with it, and come up with your own unique ways to visualize the slides. So I hope you found this video useful. Please leave a like and subscribe for future videos, and I will catch you next time.